Since 2006, the Marlins tried to build their team around Hanley Ramirez. There were incredible peaks, a batting title, Rookie of the Year, 3 All-Star appearances. But there were also some rather deep valleys. And now, Hanley's a Dodger, a new start for both parties. Tonight, the Dodgers and Hanley face the Fish in Miami.
Above in Miami tonight, rain in the area. Dodgers are in the area. Marlins Park, the Fish finally home. And the Los Angeles Dodgers just a game behind the San Francisco Giants in the West. The Marlins opening up this homestand. It's a 3-game series. This would be game 1. And that would be Hanley Ramirez as a Dodger as he enters his 3rd week as a Dodger. And I guess now you finally turn the page as Hanley arrives here in Miami, his home for the past 6.5 years. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. You have to turn the page if you're both organizations. It will be interesting watching Hanley in the first couple of at-bats. But after that, the Dodgers are more worried about the Giants, and the Marlins are more worried about getting some wins.
Yeah, after it all happens, you worry about the ball game. I'm really curious to see how the crowd reacts to Hanley Ramirez. He's playing shortstop tonight. He started 5 games at short. He started 8 games at third so far for the Dodgers.
Okay, the Dodgers. Now they're not your Dodgers when you were a Dodger. They're not your dad's Dodgers. They weren't even the Dodgers from a month ago. The Dodgers at the trading deadline, obviously with Hanley Ramirez, shook things up, but they also added some other nice pieces.
They have. I think they've added some leadership and certainly speed at the top of the order in Victorino. We've talked about Hanley. They have to find where they want him to play, though, I think, all the time instead of flip-flopping him. Bobby Abreu is gone. They designated him for assignment. Joe Blanton in the rotation, 5 years with the Phillies. The Marlins saw him a lot. He's beaten the Marlins 7 times. And, oh, yeah, there's that guy Randy Choate in case they need a lefty-lefty matchup out of the bullpen.
All right, let's focus on the left-handers in this one. The starting pitchers, the guy pitching for the Dodgers won just about every award you could win last year. Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, plus a Gold Glove. This guy's just an outstanding pitcher. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of support this year, 9-6, but look at the ERA. He's got great stuff.
Oh, Mark Burley is going for the Fish. Now, Burley's last 4 starts have not been the best. Dodgers haven't seen him a whole lot, and when they've seen him, he's been good against them.
Yeah, he hasn't won a ball game since July 14th against the Washington Nationals, but he has had success against the Dodgers.
Okay, there you go. That's your Sir Pizza pitching matchup. The matchup on the field, Miami, Los Angeles. And Hanley Ramirez takes his first swings in Marlins Park as a Dodger. We'll return after this.
Bow tie bar. Also out in center field, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Rich, thank you very much. Marlins come off a nice series win over the Mets. Now the Dodgers, but it's not just the Dodgers. It's Hanley with an LA hat.
Hanley and the Dodgers coming to town, and the first time he's been back against his old teammates. And you see the new Low Viste there has a pretty big impact with the Dodgers the first few games there.
Yep.
Only hitting 226, but he's got a home run, 12 RBIs, and only 53 at-bats. And some of those RBIs have won a couple games. So not a stellar average, but good RBIs.
It's going to be fun to watch, I think, for Marlin fans after his run here. I talked with him today about coming back.
Wonderful day, you know. I'm with my family, you know. Just I got a chance to spend the whole day with my kids and wife and parents, you know. It's a great moment. It's going to be a little weird, definitely, yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, just, you know, I'm playing for the Dodgers now. Let's go for the win.
All right, so Hanley, looking forward to it. He did say he'd want to play all 3 games in one day if he could. It's a little emotional for guys going back. Jose Reyes faced the same thing in New York. It's different. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. You spend 7 years in your career, and then all of a sudden you're gone, and it's weird to come back.
And Hanley said, I never been in that visiting clubhouse before. He said, it's not as nice as the home clubhouse. All right, should be fun to watch. Hanley Ramirez, he's number 13 now. And the matchup, wow. Clayton Kershaw, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, faces veteran Mark Burley next on Fox Sports Florida.
Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. Who's ready for some baseball? 3-game series with the Dodgers opens. Roof is closed, AC's on. There's rain in the area here in the greater Miami area. Here come the Dodgers. Shane Victorino will lead it off. Mark Ellis, sure-handed second baseman, hits second. Nice to have Matt Kemp back for Don Mattingly. Hanley Ramirez at short, hitting cleanup. Andre Ethier's in right. Juan Rivera, part of the platoon at first base the Dodgers have been using. Jerry Hairston Jr. has played very well this year at third. A.J. Ellis, a big-time surprise behind the plate. And Clayton Kershaw hits ninth.
Well, it's a lineup that left-hander right there, Mark Burley, will be facing. And Boy, over his last 4 starts, he just hasn't been quite there, and he needs to turn things around. He's 0-2 with a couple of no decisions. He's given up 16 earned runs in his last 20 and a third innings. He's pitched well in his career against the Dodgers. In 30 innings against L.A., he's given up 25 hits and no walks.
Burley was in line for a win his last time out, but the Marlins bullpen couldn't hold that lead. Pinch a Penny brings you the first pitch. His last time out, he left with a 2-run lead in Washington. First pitch, fastball, a strike to the flying Hawaiian, who looks real odd in blue. And the Marlins have seen him for so long as a member of the powerhouse Phillies. And Victorino out in front pops that one into shallow left. Austin Kearns is out there, and he makes the catch. Marlins defense looks this way tonight.
Well, always a lot of room out there in the outfield. Kearns, Ruggiano, and Giancarlo back in the lineup. Defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. A little different look in the infield with Dobbs and Nick Green on the left side. Donovan Solano, Carlos Lee, and John Buck behind the plate.
Here is Mark Ellis, a Florida Gator who has spent most of his career out on the West Coast. 10 years with Oakland. Spent part of last year with Colorado, and a Dodger this year. This is game number 66 for Ellis, who's put up solid numbers and, as usual, has played stellar defensively.
I mean, that's the kind of player he is. Very solid, makes the routine plays. Out of Rapid City, Iowa. South Dakota, excuse me. See, up in that area, I'm not really sure. More of a northeast, northwest.
He'll understand. He was an outstanding Florida Gator. In fact, he played on the left side of the infield at Florida his first 2 years at third, his next 2 years at short, and his double play combo partner ended up being a major league shortstop, David Eckstein.
A couple of guys who've had very good careers, and Ellis is still going.
Still going at 35. Burley, outside corner, strikes out Ellis, who had tossed his bat and was walking down the first baseline. Chris Conroy, the home plate umpire, though, was emphatic about it and rang him up.
I think when you're an umpire and you know you have a pitcher out there who's around the strike zone, even early on, hey, you're going to get the benefit every once in a while.
Pitch number 6, and it was in the zone. Papa John's brings you the Fox track. So Conroy was on it. Burley on the black. And here is Matt Kemp, the most famous hamstring in Los Angeles. With the type of start that he had this year, twice he's injured that hamstring. It has curtailed the running game, but certainly not the pop in the bat. And this is game number 61 for Kemp, and he's put up enormous numbers in just 60 games. And that's a strike. You rarely will see that. Look at Kemp saying, oh, come on.
He didn't even catch the ball.
Buck didn't catch it. Mattingly doesn't like it.
Mattingly said he didn't even catch it.
Buck was set up in, and Burley a cutter back. That's right down the middle.
Yeah, that's a good pitch.
That's a strike. That's a great call by Chris Conroy.
It's also good to see the movement that Mark Burley has gotten on a couple of pitches here early.
Counts 1-2. The elusive win number 10 for Mark Burley has been tough to pin down. And that cutter misses in to Matt Kemp. When he gets to 10, and he's at 9-10, it will be his 12th consecutive year with double-digit wins. Joining CC Sabathia, that is strike 3 called. Kemp doesn't like that one either, but that looked like a strike as well. weekend series. And the Marlins will come to the plate in this orderly fashion. Jose Reyes has trouble swinging the bat from the right side of the plate. He gets the night off against Kershaw. Donovan Solano at second. Justin Ruggiano moves up to the 2 spot. Carlos Lee's been hot. Giancarlo Stanton, a welcome back to him. His first game back at home since coming off the disabled list. Austin Kearns, Greg Dobbs, Nick Green gets a start at shortstop. John Buck hits 8th and Mark Burley hits 9th.
Well, you're looking at last year's Cy Young Award winner, Clayton Kershaw, just 24 years old, out of Highland Park High School in Dallas. Boy, they come up with a lot of pitchers in the Dallas, Texas area. But he's got good stuff. Live fastball and a tremendous curveball.
First pitch fastball is a strike to Solano, who gets the start at second base. Ozzie Guillen has all right-handed bats he could find in the lineup. And it takes Jose Reyes out of the lineup. I think had Reyes not had a hitting streak going, he may have gotten a day off in the last week just to rest that sore hand. But the hitting streak ended yesterday, and Ozzie Guillen, with Kershaw out there and the pain that he has hitting right-handed, figured tonight's a good night to give him the night off.
And with the Marlins facing a right-hander, Joe Blanton, tomorrow night, Ozzie has said that Reyes will be in the lineup. So he'll keep everybody loose over on the bench right now.
Solano on that breaking ball fouls it back and out of play. You saw Emilio Bonifacio there as well. Bonifacio continues to rehab the thumb and is a week and a half to 2 weeks away by all accounts, which is great news for Miami. Kershaw's 1-2 to Solano, and he pulls it foul.
You hear the term used with certain pitchers, how they can work up and down in the strike zone. Kershaw can do that because he has that big 12-6 curve. He can move his fastball up and down and get hitters sometimes to go after a high fastball. Check the scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. There's the Triple Crown, wins, ERA, and strikeouts. He's deliberate, hides the ball very well, too.
Solano pops it behind first. Juan Rivera, who also plays in the outfield, is back there, and he makes the catch. Rivera platoons at first base with James Loney, and he's in there against the lefty Burley. Here's the rest of the Dodgers defensively.
Dodgers getting their first look, except for Victorino and Hanley Ramirez, of course, too. Victorino, Kemp, and Ethier. Good speed in that outfield. Hanley has started 5 games at short, 8 games at third for the Dodgers. Another Hairston.
Here's Ruggiano now, and he's in the 2 spot. And the Marlins hopeful that he just continues to swing the bat the way he has. Look at the 55 games. That's the best start in Marlins history after 55 games. And Ruggiano, in a season that certainly hasn't turned out the way the Marlins would have liked, Ruggiano has been a very bright spot. Here's the 2-0 pitch.
Well, you think about it. If everything had gone right for the Marlins, we would have never seen Justin Ruggiano. And so this is an opportunity, and he's really taken a hold of it.
He had 6 hits in the 3-game series in New York, including his 9th home run of the season yesterday. He goes after another fastball and fouls it back to the screen. Count evens at 2-2. Texas A&M and an original draft pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers, then traded to the Rays organization, where he kind of languished in AAA behind some real talented outfielders. Kershaw thought he had it. You saw him start off the mound, and the Dodgers have had some contentious moments already with Chris Conroy. There's your Fox tracks. It's outside, and of all the pitches that the Dodgers have discussed and disagreed with, Conroy has been right on every one of them. Ruggiano drives that one left center field. It is deep. It is gone. Light that thing up. Justin Ruggiano, a solo shot, and it's 1-0.
He just continues to impress. He got a fastball out over the plate.
And you talk about launching a ball. Justin Ruggiano just launched one just left of the home run sculpture. Let the Dodgers see that thing right away. There it is, out over the plate.
And here is Carlos Lee. And he pops it towards first. Rivera gives way to Ellis. One pitch to Lee, and he pops out. But a 1-0 lead, and here comes Giancarlo Stanton. Other hitters coming over to Ruggiano wanting to know what he hit, how he hit it, and what it felt like. And here is Stanton. Yesterday, Stanton watched as the Marlins lost to R.A. Dickey. And a strike. It's 0-1. But of course, his Wednesday night performance in New York drew rave reviews. Stanton a rocket, and it's foul. But wow, it ends up at the Taste of Miami.
Taste that one. Giancarlo in batting practice, Rich, hit one of the furthest ones I've ever seen to date.
Well, Kershaw's got him 0-2. And let's see what the lefty will do with him.
He hit one halfway up the rolling windows left of the Budweiser balcony bar.
Kershaw trying to stay outside, and he misses away at 94 miles an hour. There you go.
It landed about there. That's about where it hit.
1-2. Big breaking ball for a strike 3 called, and the inning is over. But not before Miami gets on the board first. Justin Ruggiano just keeps on hitting, his 10th of the season. Healthcare second. Hanley Ramirez arrives at the plate. Boos and cheers. Very similar to the reception that Jose Reyes got when he stepped in the box the first time in April at Citi Field. And Hanley goes after the first pitch.
If I had to say anything, and it surprised me a little, I would say it leaned more toward boos than cheers. But you know Hanley's going to do everything he can to have a hot 3-game series.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. And Burley misses up. There is, at least to my knowledge, not yet been a scientific contraption that can measure equally boos to cheers.
I think they had it on the Gong Show.
Hanley takes down low, and the count is 2-1. Burley facing Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier, and Juan Rivera in the Dodgers' second. Miami's run coming on a Justin Ruggiano homer. against Clayton Kershaw, and Hanley hits a high fly ball left field. Kearns is there, and he makes the catch.
I tell you what, Hanley just got under that one.
Yeah, he just missed it. Our game tonight in high definition, thanks to the fine folks at H.H. Gray. Now Andre Ethier. Ethier and Kemp have kind of been the engines of the Dodger offense this year.
But rarely they are now have they been operating at the same time. Ethier spent time on the disabled list as well.
Ethier always seems to have big games against the Marlins, though these two teams see each other normally 6 to 7 times a year. Sometimes a 3-game series here or a 4-game series out there, but that's it.
Yeah, they split the 6 games last year.
The odd part about this year is this is the first game all year between the two. Burley on the comebacker, and that's a layup for Mark Burley.
It is really interesting. I was thinking about this today, Rich. Teams early in the year that were playing the Dodgers saw a healthy Matt Kemp. Then you had teams that played them without Kemp, sometimes without Ethier. But now the Marlins, since this is the first time they're playing the Dodgers, they have Ethier, they have Kemp, they have Hanley Ramirez, they have Joe Blanton, they have Shane Victorino.
I guess the question would be, as Juan Rivera stands in, do they need more to catch the Giants? They're a game behind the Giants starting play tonight. There's the changeup that's fouled at the plate.
And you say that at a perfect time. There's Joe Blanton, who the Marlins will see tomorrow night. Where they would like to get a little more production is from first base. Rivera's playing there tonight. They use James Loney there, but neither produce as much as they would like to see.
Good breaking ball. When D. Gordon returns, their shortstop, the son of Tom Gordon, they can move Hanley Ramirez to third base, and that might help their production at third base. Burley's 1-2 pitch. Changeup floats away.
Now this is the guy. There's Shane Victorino. You're right. He does look totally different in that Dodger blue. But he was actually originally drafted by the Dodgers, so he's back home, so to speak. Rivera has faced Burley a number of times. He's hit a couple of home runs against Mark Burley in their matchups in the American League.
Rivera, a Dodger last year, also a Blue Jay last year. And he's out in front of that changeup. He pulls it foul. There are some rather large documents you have to handle before you call a Major League Baseball game. One of the largest for this game is the auxiliary bios for the Dodgers team. And Rivera has a very good at bat against Burley and walks against him. You've got the aforementioned Hanley Ramirez, Shane Victorino, Randy Choate, Joe Blanton. Brandon League is another nice piece that Don Mattingly has picked up. They picked him up from Seattle. And here is Jerry Hairston, who is a Swiss Army knife of a player that you can put just about anywhere, and he'll play the heck out of that position.
Of course, it's been over a span of a few years, but we talked about Mark Burley and his numbers against the Dodgers. 31 innings now. That's the first walk he's issued to a Dodger hitter.
And if you're looking for a constant in the last 4 starts and an answer to why has Mark Burley struggled, it's that. It's walks, which sounds odd to say. Burley had walked 4 apiece going into his last start. You can see the start against Atlanta starting from the bottom up, then the start at Atlanta. He walked 2 in Washington and was in line for a 6-4 win. That was the collapse of Mike Dunn in the 8th inning against the Nationals. Hairston ready, 1-2 pitch. In the air, right field. Stanton towards the line, and he's there, and he makes the catch. Mark Burley leaves a runner. Miami leads it 1-0. In Coral Gables. It's in the village of Merrick Park. It's our warm-up for the Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction. From 4 to 8, Tommy and I will be there, as well as Marlin players, and 10% of the purchases from that Tommy Bahama location will go to the Marlins Foundation. There'll be appetizers, there'll be drinks, there'll be some music. It'll be a fine party for sure, as Austin Kearns watches the ball bounce in the dirt. 1-0 ball game, bottom of the second. Marlins on top of the Dodgers. Some players we know that will be there. Justin Ruggiano will be there on Sunday. Steve Cishek will be there on Sunday. Hairston races in to get that big hop and then lobs it across the diamond to Rivera. And there is one out. You looked quite good in that video there in your Tommy Bahama shirt. So we've got Steve Cishek, Justin Ruggiano. You'll be there. Scott Cousins.
Justin Ruggiano may talk to the fans about that 430-foot home run he just hit.
Wow. If you make a purchase on Sunday night at that Tommy Bahama location of $100 or more, you'll get a autographed baseball from any of the players that will be there. And of course, it supports a great cause, and it warms us up for Monday night's Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction. Greg Dobbs now. This a tough assignment for Dobbs. A breaking ball from Kershaw, misses down low.
It really is. We've talked about it before, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of at-bats. 23 at-bats against lefties. Greg Dobbs is hitting .391 against lefties and did a nice job on the road trip.
Busted his bat. Kershaw has it and flips on over to first. And gets 2 quick outs to open up this second inning. The Ruggiano home run, the only run here in Miami tonight. As Clayton Kershaw goes for win number 10. Mark Burley's going for win number 10. And the Dodgers, of course, just trying to keep pace with the San Francisco Giants. The Giants a 1-game lead going into play tonight.
When you watch Kershaw deliver, we talked about how he hides the ball. He also has a little herky jerkiness, and he has a little hesitation in his delivery.
Misses away, and it's 1-1. Nick Green getting the start at shortstop with Reyes the night off. Green, a versatile infielder that can play all 3 spots. And with the injuries the Marlins have suffered and the trades that they have made, they've been thin with infielders. Emilio Bonifacio, of course, on the disabled list. Hanley Ramirez traded away. The size of the glove that Kershaw has. Big breaking ball, and that is strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Kershaw. A 9-pitch inning. Got a few Dodger fans in the house wearing their Dodger blue. 1-0. And a guy that has had a real interesting career turn this year is at the plate. That would be A.J. Ellis, who is 31. And somehow, and maybe it's a Justin Ruggiano type story, Ruggiano's 30. A.J. Ellis is just starting to blossom as a big leaguer. Hurley throws a strike. His on-base percentage is just 2 points below 400. See, the Dodgers drafted him back in 2003. He's got 29 doubles this year.
Yeah, it's amazing, too, that he's been with the same organization all this time, too, and just starting to blossom. But part of it has been his patience at the plate.
He sees more pitches per at bat than anybody in baseball, and he didn't like the call on that pitch. And it's 2-2.
8 years in the minor leagues for A.J. Ellis.
This is his first full season in the big leagues. 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Buck picks it, and Ellis strikes out.
Boy, he got him to chase a really good changeup.
You see that the pitch number 4 is the one that
every
Ellis...
time the Dodgers have complained, home plate umpire Chris Conroy has been correct.
I'm telling you, pitch number 4 was a good call. It was on the black. And here's Kershaw. At the knees. And it's 1-1.
Got 2 pitchers, different styles, but they both work quickly.
Roller out towards short. Nick Green fires high. Catch and tag by Carlos Lee. El Caballo came right down on top of the helmet of Kershaw.
Well, that's good play by Carlos Lee. We've seen Nick Green at second and third, and this is his first game we've seen him at short. He did play short in AAA, but that throw sailed, and Carlos Lee able to come down on the back of Kershaw to get him. Good call by Mark Carlson over at first.
And so here is Victorino. I'll bet you, and I haven't had it substantiated, but I asked Victorino, and he said, in all likelihood, this is a guy that had a big influence in the Dodgers acquiring Shane Victorino, because Lopes was Victorino's guiding light when he was a Philly. And when the Phillies really blossomed with their running game and made it the most lethal in baseball, it was Davey Lopes who was behind it.
Now, we talked about how Victorino looks odd. For all the years Lopes was with the Phillies, he looks natural.
That's right.
In the Dodger blue.
He's back in Dodger blue.
All those years with Garvey and Russell and Say.
Change up, Victorino out in front of it, and he skies it to left. Kearns is back there, and he makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for Burley. 1-0 Miami.
The Marlins leading 1-0 here. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the Dodgers franchise, has won the most Cy Young awards out of any franchise in baseball. And there's the reigning Cy Young winner. Clayton Kershaw won in 2011. They won 10 overall. And they also won the first ever. That was Don Newcomb for the Brooklyn Dodgers in '56. First multiple guy to win the Cy Young, Sandy Koufax. He won it 3 out of 4 years. They also have the first reliever ever to win. That was Mike Marshall, appeared in 106 games. He won 15. He had 15-12 record that year, and he also saved 21 games. So the Dodgers, quite a history. Don Drysdale, Fernando, Oral Hershiser, among the others who have won the Cy Young in Dodger blue. Rich, Tommy?
Yeah, good stuff, Craig and Tommy. You were part of that organization. You were drafted, scouted by Tommy Lasorda. Signed with the Dodgers. You grew up in Southern California, so you saw a lot of those guys pitch.
Oh, I did.
John Buck hits a high fly ball, and Victorino, getting used to playing left field, is there, and he makes the catch.
Yeah, I grew up watching Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale, and then had an opportunity to be with them in spring training and to get called up for a little bit with them. You know, the amazing year about the season Mike Marshall had as a relief pitcher, Craig mentioned the number of games. 21 saves, 15 wins. He threw over 200 innings and worked out of the bullpen that year.
Mike Rizzo would have shut him down in late August.
Hey, you had a little update on that.
Yeah, today the Nationals general manager, as Burley lines it into the seats, indicated that Steven Strasburg would not exceed 180 innings. The 160 mark had been thrown around a lot, and Mike Rizzo, when the last we saw him, said he never used that number before, but today he said that number would not get higher than 180 innings this year for Strasburg.
So now a number has actually been put out there, and if he goes 6 innings to start, that could take him the end of September.
Here's the 1-2 pitch.
It just won't take him in the playoffs.
Kershaw misses away, and the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Nationals are headed in that direction right now. They're headed and playing like they are a postseason team. A 4.5 game lead in the East. Burley swings and misses. The Nationals have won 6 in a row, and I think Mike Rizzo's in a no-win situation right now. He has to look after the well-being of Steven Strasburg. At the same time, he's got a fan base, 24 other guys that would like to see Strasburg pitching game 1.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you what. On the other hand, Jordan Zimmerman went 6 innings and struck out 11 last night. Gio Gonzalez, we talked about, pitched a complete game and hit a home run the other night.
Oh, I'm with you on that. You got Detweiler in that rotation as well, and their rotation still is very, very good, even if you subtract Strasburg.
But if I were a Nationals fan, I think I'd want to see Strasburg in postseason.
Donovan Solano's at the plate. Solano has popped out. The Marlins' first time through against Clayton Kershaw have struck out 3 times, but not Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano hit one 430 feet up the stairway to heaven out there in left center field. Solano swings and misses that one. It's 1-2. And there is Ruggiano on deck.
We have seen Kershaw throw a couple of changeups. He'll mix that in with the fastball and that big curveball.
Two and 2. Solano swings and misses, and Kershaw strikes out Donovan Solano. 3 very quick innings, 1-0 Miami. The Dodgers. And it's Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, and Hanley Ramirez. Second time through for that trio. Ellis in the 2 spot was called out on strikes in the first.
You know, just thinking about it, Mark Ellis has a little Steve Sachs look about him. We're mentioning Davey Lopes. Sachs, then a Dodgers second baseman for a number of years.
Ellis, a little better with the glove, I would think. Even though he's never won a major award, Ellis is second all-time in fielding percentage among second basemen. Only Placido Polanco is better.
Well, it's like we said earlier, he's always maybe not been flashy, but he's always made that routine play.
Slow roller out to Green. Gobbles it up, fires to first. One out. Here comes Matt Kemp. Here comes our AT&T trivia question. As we flip the phone, Don Mattingly won 9 Gold Gloves at first base in 10 seasons. Who won it the year he didn't win it?
Wow. Maybe there was a misvote.
When was Rafael Palmeiro?
Palmeiro won it that one year. Remember, there was a lot of controversy because he DH'd a good part of the year. But Mattingly won a little bit of everything. He was an all-star. He was an MVP. Won a batting title. Dodger hitters are really blessed. I mean, they have 3 guys. Dave Hansen's the hitting coach. Does a terrific job. But you can go to Mattingly, who was a big league hitting coach. You can go to Tim Wallach, who's their third base coach, who's been a hitting coach.
Kemp dumps that one into center field for a base hit. I'll tell you, they've got another guy too, Manny Mota, who's around the ball club, who knows a thing or two about hitting.
So a lot of different styles and a lot of different people to talk to.
There's the reception for Hanley Ramirez, who flied to left his first time up, and he just missed it. It was a high fly ball. Then when it first left the bat, you thought, hey, maybe that might have a chance. It counts 0-1 on Hanley. Those are his season numbers on the bottom line.
Yeah, he came into the game. This is 15th game as a Dodger, hitting .226 with LA. He's driven in some big runs. He has 12 RBIs. And there are the numbers since the trade. And we saw his struggles. We saw pitchers work him in with hard stuff. He had a hard time adjusting to that. Out over the plate, a lot of times when he gets that good extension, he can do some damage.
Here's the 1-1. Hanley drives it into center field. It's a base hit. Ruggiano plays it on a hop. Kemp will stop at second, and Hanley is aboard at first. And here comes Andre Ethier.
They'll have to 1 out. The Dodgers put together back-to-back singles. First hits of the game for them.
You know, Matt Kemp signed an enormous contract that has him signed through 2019. 8 years, $160 million. Ethier has a 6-year deal worth $96 million that takes him through 2017.
Now, I didn't see Magic Johnson down on the field, but I did see Stan Kasten, part of the new ownership group, which I think is a really good thing in Los Angeles.
Fastball misses in. And the Dodgers were kind of in a holding pattern the last year and a half with the divorce of Frank and Jamie McCourt and the issues, the financial issues. The sale went through. The new ownership group has promised to not only spend money on the team, but also spend money on Dodger Stadium, which is, I think, terrific news. In the last couple of years that we've gone into Dodger Stadium, you could tell that the ballpark had not been kept up as it always had been. Sort of like a Disneyland type feel to it. Even though Dodger Stadium is 50 years old, they always did such a great job of upkeep and modernizing. And
I think they need to modernize a little bit more in certain areas.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And it's in the air out to left. Kearns is there, and he makes the catch. And you would know firsthand, you grew up watching games there. You were signed by the Dodgers and played there as a Dodger, and your father worked at the ballpark.
Yeah, my dad worked about 15 or 16 years as the head usher behind home plate after he retired. It was a great retirement job. I used to get to see him if I was with the Phillies or with the Expos coming into Los Angeles.
Was he able to give you all the phone numbers of the Starlets, the Doris Days, the Raquel Welches?
He had to keep those under wraps.
A little harder back then. You couldn't do the texting thing.
That's right. Cary Grant would come down there.
Juan Rivera's up. Dodgers have runners first and second. Kemp's the runner at second. And Hanley the runner at first. You got good speed out there, although Kemp with that hamstring is a little more measured in his steps nowadays.
That's a good point. I think they really want him to run under control. Something the Expos did years ago with Vladimir Guerrero. They wanted him to do that because early in his career he had a lot of leg injuries.
Kemp stole 40 bases last year. Soft liner out towards second. Solano has it, and Burley works around the 2 singles here in the 4th. Biggest savings under the sun at Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by the new summer barbecue menu at Burger King. Let's have a barbecue today. Tonight, Marlins Park. Dodgers and Marlins first of 3. The man at the plate has provided the only run of the ball game. And Clayton Kershaw throws a straight change to Ruggiano. It's up. It's 1-0.
Yeah, you could tell the speed, 84. And comes back with a fastball.
Ruggiano hit one to left center that went 430 feet. He has had just an incredible run in his first really sustained chance to play in the big leagues. And he was drafted by the Dodgers in 2004 in the 25th round out of Texas A&M. And 2 years later, he was sent to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in a multiplayer deal. The biggest pieces in that deal were Deoner Navarro and Mark Hendrickson. And you would think at that point, Ruggiano's probably thinking, all right, I'm going from the Dodgers, which is tough to break in. I'm going to the Rays. I'm going to get a chance to play. He swings at a high fastball and pops it foul. But as the story goes, he climbed his way up to AAA with the Rays. And once he got there, he found B.J. Upton in center, Carl Crawford in left, And waiting in the wings, a talented youngster, Desmond Jennings. And Ruggiano spent parts of 4 seasons at AAA Durham for the Rays. Breaking ball struck him out.
And always, Rich, good minor league numbers, a career .295 average in the minor leagues, over 100 home runs.
It's a good pitch by Kershaw. All right, who was that first baseman?
I like your guess in Rafael Palmeiro, but I don't think we're getting a lot of support on that answer.
Yeah, we didn't hear a buzzer or a bell, so it's tough to know. Mark McGwire in 1990.
Big Mac.
Kershaw misses away with a fastball.
Tell you, Big Mac was a steady first baseman, very sure-handed.
Carlos Lee hooks one to left, and Victorino back a couple steps.
Got to be an adjustment for Victorino. I know along the way he's played some left field, but certainly not what he was used to playing when he was with the Phillies. He patrolled center field all the time, but he's not going to replace Matt Kemp out there. So a little bit of an adjustment.
Here is Stanton coming off the disabled list in New York. Played 2 nights and then got yesterday off. And of course, in his second game, he hit 2 homers, 2 two-run homers. Also had a double in that ball game. Stanton was called out on strikes back in the first. Kershaw misses away.
I think we'll early on probably see that same scenario. Stanton will play these 2 night games, and I would imagine get Sunday off, maybe not. The Marlins right now, Rich, in a stretch that started in New York. They're in a stretch of 17 games in 16 days. The doubleheader in Arizona.
They're also in the middle of the donut of 28 games, 22 of which are on the road. These are the 6 home games starting tonight with the Phillies here on Monday.
So what you're saying, we're in the middle of the donut right now.
I just like to use the word donut. Here's the 1-2. And that curveball doesn't come far enough. And it's 2-2 for Giancarlo Stanton, who has now 7 at-bats in his young career against Kershaw. He is 2 for 7 with a pair of strikeouts. Three and 2. There's Austin Kearns. He's on deck.
It'll be an interesting pitch. See what Kershaw features. 3-2 to Stanton. Got it up. Looked like the changeup.
Joe Blanton against Ricky Nolasco. Now, we've seen that matchup a lot, but that was when Blanton was a Philly. And Blanton has always given Miami fits. 3-2 coming. Fastball elevated, and he blew it by him. Kershaw has struck out Stanton twice. Miami has a 1-0 lead. We'll be back after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Subway fifth. Marlins and Dodgers. 1-0. Marlins on top of the Dodgers. A Justin Ruggiano home run is the only run of this ball game. Mark Burley working quickly. Clayton Kershaw has had a nice pace to this game as well. Has only been 3 hits through 4 innings. So we have to add some muscle to the lineup, and we've done it now. Marlins Vice President Baseball Operations Michael Hill joins us now. Hi, Michael.
Thank you. I'm glad you said muscle and not fat.
No, we consider it muscle. It's pure muscle.
Hey, I passed you on your way out of Central Park the other day. You just run the park. I was on my way out there, so I would never use the fat word.
Hey, Rich, I have one for Mike right off the bat. We've been talking about Justin Ruggiano. From the organization's standpoint, I know the club wanted to sign him in the offseason. How did it all come about? He ended up going to the Houston Astros organization.
He chose to sign with Houston out of this offseason, just given their situation. He felt like it was a great opportunity for him to play. We were in the finals to sign him, but we missed out. And then when Kearns went on the disabled list, we really stepped up our efforts to try to get another right-handed bat into the situation. We have so many left-handed bats in our roster that it was imperative that we went out and got another right-handed bat. So we immediately called Houston and put a deal in place, and we were very, very fortunate to be able to sign Justin.
And it's one of those things that Rich and I have talked about. If everything goes well for the ball club, we never hear about Justin Ruggiano.
No, I mean, we had identified him, and we were, we tried our best to get him out of spring training, but in the offseason it didn't work out. So it was one of those things where, you have an injury, you go to your depth chart and you identify the guy, and he's done everything, taking advantage of every opportunity presented to him, and it's great to see him playing the way he's playing.
Interesting matchup here, not only at the plate, but especially at first base. You've got a veteran in Jerry Hairston, who's trying to get as big a lead as he can against Mark Burley, who has such a terrific pickoff move. In fact, in the Baseball America poll, Burley voted as the best pickoff move in the big leagues.
And then you have the knowledge of Davey Lopes over there as the Dodger first base coach.
Nice game of cat and mouse here, especially with the 2 pitchers on the mound. You want to keep him out of scoring position. His runs obviously will be at a premium tonight.
A.J. Ellis is a guy that we were talking about. From your perspective, he's very similar to Ruggiano in that this is his first full year in the big leagues. Where did this guy come from? Where did all these eye-popping stats, all the doubles, the on-base percentage, where did it come from?
The reason why they're playing where they're playing and performing the way they are as a team is you've had guys step in and step up, and A.J. Ellis is a perfect example of a guy who really hadn't been given an opportunity, who's just stepped in and taken advantage of an opportunity, and that's what you need to have a special season, to compete, to play into September and into October. You need guys to step up and take advantage of an opportunity, and A.J. Ellis is a big reason why the Dodgers are where they are.
You see, the Dodgers are just 8 games over, but 1 game out. Arizona 3 behind the Dodgers, 4 behind San Francisco. Tico bring you the National League West standings.
And Mike, we all know what happens when it goes in the other direction. When you don't have guys step up, when there are injuries, when guys are underperforming. We've seen it firsthand.
No, we've lived it here for the last 4 months, and over the course of 162 games, Tommy, you know that you're never going to stay healthy. You know that things are going to happen over the course of a season, and guys, you guys need to step up and take advantage of opportunities. Ruggiano has done so. Steve Cishek has done so. But to really make a season be special for you.
Burley knocks it down, gets it out there. Green steps in and turns it. Terrific play by Mark Burley. I don't know if he got it with the glove or his leg. Maybe a little of both, but he turns it into a 1-6-3 double play.
Rich, how many times do we say this? When Mark Burley pitches, there is always a way, he finds a way to help himself. Saw him make that great play the other night on the flip to first. Even though he bobbled the ball and didn't catch it cleanly, he didn't panic. He still grabbed it. He knew Ellis was the runner, and then a good relay throw by Nick Green as well.
That was great to see him help himself there, turn a key double play there with the pitcher coming up. That you can't say enough about when a pitcher feels his position and helps himself out.
Here's Kershaw now, and he fouls it off. Now, Tommy and I were interested to see what the reaction would be in the ballpark when Hanley Ramirez stepped in. He's come to the plate twice. As an executive, what were your expectations?
You know, I've said this many times on some of the radio interviews. I mean, Hanley's done so much for the organization. You know, his name is all over our record books. You know, it's hard for me, from my standpoint, to say anything bad about the player. We obviously we made a trade. We moved on from Hanley, but you still wish him the best once he leaves town.
Nathan Eovaldi, the piece that you got back, and with 2 outs and 2 strikes. I don't really want to ask you right now about Eovaldi because you might not have a lot of time, but what the heck? Let's go for it. So far, the 3 starts you've seen from Eovaldi.
It's what our reports, exactly what our scouts have said about him. It's a power arm. It's one of those arms with a fastball with very deceptive.
Yep.
We'll finish this another time.
See what I mean? All right, stick around. Another half inning from Michael Hill as Mark Burley strikes out Clayton Kershaw with Sale to the bottom of the 5th.
Español es presentado en SAP por Toyota.
Pitching, and more pitching. 1-0 Miami on top, but Justin Ruggiano homer, the only hit for the Marlins, the only run of the ballgame. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Marlins general manager Michael Hill joining us now. Let's talk about 2 guys. Now, we've been bombarded the last couple of Twitter email Tuesdays with questions about Rob Brantley, Jacob Turner, your 2 pieces you got from the Detroit Tigers. What are the reports? What have you seen? And will Marlin fans get a chance to see them in a Marlin uniform before too long?
I would say it's safe to say that Marlins fans will definitely get to see both Rob Brantley and Jacob Turner in person, live, not Memorex, here at Marlins Park in the very near future. Both, since they came over in the trade, have done very well. You know, Brantley, the catcher, we knew he was an offensive catcher. We've really just worked on making sure from a defensive standpoint he's ready to step in and handle a major league staff. But he's been off to a great start, hitting .370 or so at AAA and really doing the things that we like, both offensively and defensively. Turner has made 3 starts, starts again on Sunday with New Orleans, and is pounding the strike zone and doing exactly what we wanted him to do. And we wanted to get him over here and get his feet under him and really try to take some of the pressure off and let him perform the way that we know he's capable of performing. And you know, he's done that, and we're looking forward to getting him up here and helping us here in the near future.
Not to really put you on the spot, you probably won't answer this, but the Marlins do have on the next road trip a doubleheader in Arizona. So you're always going to need that extra pitcher, that extra starter. Who knows?
Yes, who knows? And you know, we have definitely looked at August 22nd, the doubleheader in Arizona, and I think we have a few different options of starters that may come up, but the people of South Florida may get their first taste at Jacob Turner.
The Marlins are getting a taste of vintage Clayton Kershaw right now. He looks like Cy Young himself with 7 strikeouts. He's just 1 out into this 5th inning. Is there another player, another piece of all the deals that you guys made that wasn't a headliner, wasn't a Major League ready type guy that you've had a chance to look at? I know Zach Cox is a name that he was a little off the radar, but you gave up Edward Mujica, and Cox certainly comes with a pedigree of a good bat. He's in Double-A right now.
Yes, and he's off to a good start. When we acquired him, he had a tender hamstring, so we made sure that that was taken care of and ran him through everything to make sure that it was healthy. But he's jumped right into that Double-A lineup. He's swinging the bat. He's batting third, showing power, gap power, line drives all over the place, and we're excited to get him moving along. Former first-round pick, 2010, and has stepped right in, and looking forward to seeing him at some point get up here as well.
And a left-handed bat, too.
Yes, left-handed bat, right-handed thrower, third baseman, and you know, we had to give up a lot in Edward Mujica, a solid piece of our Major League bullpen, but we're very excited for what the future holds for Zach Cox.
Greg Dobbs hits it to left. Shane Victorino makes the catch. All right, some injury updates. First, Emilio Bonifacio. How close is he?
We got great news with Bonnie and first, where the X-ray was negative and everything from his surgery was intact. So it was just a sprain, and now it's just a matter of a pain tolerance with Bonnie, and we're starting to work him back. He hasn't missed a beat with his legs, but he'll start to pick up activity with his bat, and we're hopeful within the next 10 days or so that we'll hopefully see him back here with the club.
Nick Green fouls that pitch back, and the count's 0-1. Kershaw and Burley both have been splendid here. The Dodgers, no runs on 3 hits. Miami, a run on 1 hit. That was the Ruggiano home run. And that one fouled out of play.
Rich, you and I had a chance to talk to Logan Morrison. Have you spoken to Lomo as well, Mike?
Yes, we visited during batting practice, and he's just in that rest and rehab phase right now, and we're just trying to get the knee right. I mean, obviously it's been a source of pain for him probably the last year or so, and we just want to take our time and make sure that we get it right and get a healthy Lomo back in this lineup and performing.
And if he, on September 1st, if it's not better, surgery is still an option.
I think it's an option. We want to take the conservative route. You never want to jump to cut on anyone, but we're going to see where things are, into those 3 weeks.
Matt Kemp makes a nice running catch. A fine inning of work, Mike Hill.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully we can keep this lead.
All right, thanks for the visit, Mike.
All right, guys.
1-0 Miami. auction. You can look at all of the big ticket items, the big board items, and little board items, and you can purchase your dinner tickets. Shane Victorino takes a strike from Mark Burley. Victorino leads it off for the Dodgers. Top of the order, Mark Ellis and Matt Kemp will follow against Burley, who, although he's not been as dominant as Kershaw in terms of strikeouts, has been just as effective. He has helped himself out with some nice defense as well.
He's been as dominant in his own right, and he's had a lot of hitters off balance. Twice he's got Victorino to reach for changeups and hit fly balls, lazy fly balls to left field.
Burley's at 75 pitches, 4 strikeouts, a walk. That time Victorino lunges and drives it in the gap, right center field. Ruggiero trying to cut it off. He does, and that's a good thing because Victorino would be standing on third if it gets by him, at the very least. Shane Victorino with a leadoff double, and the Dodgers have their best shot here. They had a couple of base hits with 1 out in the 4th, but now they've got their leadoff runner aboard at second.
Now it becomes a real task with that leadoff man at second base. It takes away a little of the Burley move to first base. And Ellis, who can handle the bat really well, is going to try to put the ball in play to the other side.
Ellis drops the bunt down. Dobbs has it and fires to first. Nice bunt by Ellis as he forced Dobbs to make the play. So Victorino is 90 feet away. And you got the bats you want up if you're Don Mattingly, and that's Matt Kemp and Hanley Ramirez.
A lot of times you're not going to play to tie, but it's early enough in the game. When you're on the road, it's early. They have the big part of their order coming up, and they also have Kershaw out there pitching.
And Kemp will get to hit with a drawn-in infield. Spotlight player, Cholula Hot Sauce spotlight player, Midwest City, Oklahoma, 6th-round pick. He was a terrific high school basketball player. And he lines it down the left field line. That's a base hit. This game is tied. Over to get it is Kearns. Kemp around first, on his way to second, and he is in there. So a couple doubles around the sacrifice bunt, and Los Angeles has tied this game. For Kemp, his 12th double, his 45th run driven in. Remember, this is just his 61st game.
The second hit for Kemp, and he really adjusted well on what looked like a cutter. It moved in, but he moved in with it with his hands.
And now Hanley Ramirez is in a spot where he can really hurt his old ball club. Old by only about 3 weeks. And Burley throws a strike. Singled in the 4th. Flied to left in the 2nd. Breaking ball. And it's called the ball. It's 1-1. It was right down the middle. Our BB&T Fox tracks. It's one of the rare pitches that Chris Conroy has missed.
Well, that's a good pitch too. It's a tough pitch for Hanley to hit. I'm not sure if it was a strike.
I think Burley got one back.
Yeah, but he had that good cut on it on the inner part. That's a good pitch to Hanley Ramirez.
Here's the 1-2.
And he went back in there again.
So they count 1-2. Kemp is at second.
I watched Kemp run on the double. He really looked to be running well.
Hanley shoots it into right field, the base hit. They're going to send Kemp up with the ball. Stanton, throw to the plate on a hop. Buck sweeps, safe at the plate. Kemp scores, and Hanley gives the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. Giancarlo Stanton kind of bounced that throw to the plate a few times. Had he been able to get it on just a skip, the Marlins might have had a shot.
Well, the changeup stayed up. After a couple of hard pitches in, Burley went away, but the changeup was up. I was really looking for a little better throw from Stanton. But you know when you miss time, and we saw it when he came back early in the year, you miss reps in the outfield as well. I mean, everybody focuses on the hitting. Make another time, he makes a better throw, and it's a close play at the plate. But Hanley jumped on that changeup that was out over the plate.
Two hits for Hanley. He's 2 for 3. And here is Andre Ethier. He pulls a Burley cutter foul.
Boy, look at the Marlins lineup tonight. It's a far cry from the opening day lineup.
You look at the infield. Who would have thought that the Marlins would be playing the Dodgers here in early August?
With a double play combination of Nick Green and Donovan Solano.
And Greg Dobbs at one corner and Carlos Lee at the other corner. Jose Reyes, the night off. Painful to swing right-handed right now. And so Ozzie using this Clayton Kershaw start as a chance to get him out of the lineup for a night just after his hit streak ended against R.A. Dickey yesterday in New York. Is available to pinch hit. But the way Clayton Kershaw is going, if they use him as a pinch hitter, it's going to have to be right-handed because Kershaw has been dominant. Out of play. Counts 2-2.
Yeah, I think Ozzie would use Jose as a pinch hitter, left-handed, but not right-handed.
Well, the Dodgers are well armed right now in their bullpen. They added Randy Choate, obviously, in the Ramirez trade. Brandon League, a former closer from Seattle. Early misses in, and it's 3-2. Of course, they've got a young, hard thrower, Kenley Jansen, as their closer. Three-2 breaking ball, and he got him. Ethier went after it. Burley strikes him out. But he's got to get Juan Rivera to end the inning and limit the damage to just the 2 runs.
Yeah, we mentioned Rivera in there as a right-handed hitter against Burley. 8 hits, 33 career at bats against Mark Burley. A couple of those home runs.
Rivera deep, gone in a hurry. You talked about Rivera getting a lot of at-bats against Burley in the American League. And the experience shows up here.
That's the guy that has been a nice part for Don Mattingly's ball club. He started some games in left field, at first base, some in right field. Boy, it just jumps on that changeup, and he knew it as soon as he hit it.
In 34 career at-bats, it's his 3rd home run against Burley. 4-1 Dodgers. Breaking ball, and Jerry Hairston sends it to right center. Ruggiano, a running catch. Inning over. But the Dodgers jump on Mark Burley and now have a 3-run lead. Come on out and have a terrific night, and it's all for a great cause. Everything we raise on Monday night goes to the Marlins Community Foundation. It's the Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction, and those are your dinner ticket prices. Now, for $150, you can sit and watch the game in the Clevelander. Open bar. That's right, open bar. And it's all you can eat out there. The Clevelander will provide a buffet, and you'll get yourself on television as well. Now, there's the phone number at the top of your screen, 305-480-2550, 305-480-2550. That's the number to call to reserve your dinner tickets for Monday night. And, of course, the Phillies, first of a 3-game series against Charlie Manuel's ball club, who has undergone a little bit of a makeover. More so in their everyday players, though they did lose Joe Blanton from that rotation.
You might say no big deal, but Joe Blanton had more wins than Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay combined.
And Joe Blanton had a much better record against the Marlins than Cole Hamels, whom the Marlins have beaten with some frequency over the last couple of years. Brian Webb is up. Mark Burley's spot is due up next.
Yeah, it looks like Gorkys Hernandez has moved into the on-deck circle.
Buck has flied to left. And Kershaw's breaking ball misses down low.
They talk about a strikeout pitcher. Kershaw came into the game with 150. 24 starts this year. And he struck out 7 or more 14 times.
We were talking yesterday about the National League Cy Young Award this year. R.A. Dickey was incredible yesterday, and he's been that way all season long. Kershaw doesn't have the volume of wins, but his ERA is under 3. And he's got 157 strikeouts, including tonight.
The bottom line is back-to-back pretty good pitchers the Marlins are seeing, from yesterday, R.A. Dickey, to Clayton Kershaw tonight.
Johnny Cueto has to be in the discussion. Though Cueto is not on that list of strikeouts, he is third in ERA, and he's got 14 wins. And Cueto pitches half of his games in a real hitter-friendly park.
Yeah, we talked about Kershaw out of Highland Park High School, Dallas. Matthew Stafford, quarterback with the Lions, of the same high school. They were teammates briefly, I was reading, in middle school.
Buck hits a smash, and it goes right by Hanley Ramirez into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Gorkys Hernandez now will hit for Burley.
It's a really amazing numbers. Sometimes you put them together, and of course with John Buck, the at-bats have been sporadic over the years, but he came into that at-bat 0 for 21 in his career against the Dodgers. That's his first hit against the Dodgers.
Now Hernandez. We get to see Kershaw from the stretch. And that's the first pitch that Clayton Kershaw has thrown from the stretch.
You never know. Sometimes it throws, even though a pitcher will take some warm-up tosses between innings, he'll take some from the stretch.
Marlins got their run on a solo homer from Justin Ruggiano in the first. And Kershaw has missed on 2 pitches.
He kind of has that unique style from the stretch. He has the hands way high over his head.
That's old school.
And then holds him at the chest. He doesn't come all the way down to the belt.
That's almost Max Patkin-like. There's a strike. Max Patkin.
The clown prince of baseball.
There you go. Long time ago, I saw black and white film on him. He used to tour around the major leagues and in the minor leagues.
I saw him up close and personal many years, many times in the minor leagues.
It was a lot like the San Diego Chicken was, but long before that. That one fouled back to the screen. And it's 2-2. Gorkys Hernandez, coming over in the Gabby Sanchez trade, was used almost exclusively as a defensive replacement by the Pirates. Hernandez in a couple of big trades, going from Detroit to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to Pittsburgh, always as a minor league player. Pulls a ground ball. The throw goes down to second, and Buck is in there. And Miami has runners at first and second. Gorkys Hernandez has an infield hit against Clayton Kershaw.
That's a great job by John Buck, too. Good battle by Gorkys Hernandez. He gets the infield hit because look at the lead, how John Buck was inching off. He knows he doesn't have great speed, but you can still be a good base runner. And by just inching off enough and getting a good jump, he beat the throw. A good effort by the third baseman, Hairston, because that was his only play to second base.
So here's Donovan Solano. It's 4-1 Kershaw. And Solano takes ball 1. Solano has popped out and he has struck out. Young Donovan is still looking for his first big league home run. His older brother Jonathan, on the disabled list with the Nationals, has hit a home run.
Been a little struggle lately for Donovan. He got off to such a great start. His average right now below 260.
Dodgers are going to confer on the mound. Rick Honeycutt has arrived out there. This the coaching staff that the Dodgers have out there is just stocked with big league players that had distinguished careers, guys that have managed in the big leagues.
Very similar to the Arizona Diamondbacks coaching staff.
There's Tim Wallach. You got Davey Lopes. Trey Hillman, the bench coach, managed for the Royals. And of course Honeycutt, who spent 21 seasons in the big leagues and was an all-star twice. Kershaw gets a strike on the outside corner, and the count's 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Hansen, you talked about him as the hitting coach. Hansen, one of the great pinch hitters when he played, and he played many years with the Dodgers. Hairston, a step on the grass at third. Not so sure that Solano might not try to bunt here. You got Buck at second. Hernandez, as in Gorky's, the runner at first. And a little chopper out towards Hanley Ramirez. Safe! Everybody's safe. Great hustle by Hernandez. Mark Ellis, the second baseman right now, arguing with Angel Hernandez, the umpire. That's Honeycutt's reaction. Mattingly is on his way out to the mound, or past the mound, out to second base to argue.
Well, for the second time, you give the runner at first base credit. This time, Gorky Hernandez, his speed, good jump. And we'll see if the call was right. It's not going to be changed. There's the slide. He's safe. He's safe by a lot. And I also want to see if Hanley Ramirez maybe was a little slow in making the play and the throw to second base. But clearly, he was safe at second base. That wasn't even close.
And Angel Hernandez is standing his ground right now. Mattingly is staying with the argument. He didn't get tossed. He's still in the game. But Miami has the bags loaded.
Remember, Hanley's played 5 games at short, the rest at third. There's the chopper. The throw, not a hard throw. And Gorky Hernandez flat out beat it. It's a great play.
Now you've got Ruggiano. The bags are loaded with nobody out. And Kershaw misses off the plate. Ruggiano struck out in the fourth, homered in the first. A high pop-up, fouling out of play. A couple things working there on that play at second. Number one, Hernandez has outstanding speed. Number two, the Dodgers weren't holding him on at first with runners first and second. He had an enormous lead. Look at how far he's off the base.
Well, that's just a great play. A great example for young kids.
And again, that's not even close.
Yeah, don't get a couple of feet off the bag. If they're going to give it to you, take as big a lead as you can.
Now it's 1-1 to Ruggiano. A low fastball. It's 2-1. Remember, John Buck hit a scorching one-hopper that ate Hanley Ramirez alive. Hernandez had the roller down the third base line. Buck beat the throw to second. Solano's chopper to Hanley, and Hernandez beat the throw to second. Now it's 2-1 on Ruggiano. Ground ball to third. The throw comes home, and the Dodgers get the out at home.
Well, surprised at that. I mean, it really appeared that Jerry Hairston had double play in front of him to at least get 2 outs. It's the first out of the inning. And with a lead, you figure he's going to go for the 2 outs because this ball was hit hard. Once he goes to the plate, you're really not going to get a double play. But the Dodgers do get the out and keep the run from scoring.
And now Kershaw goes to work on Carlos Lee. Lee is popped out, flied out, and he swings and misses at a breaking ball. Now Carlos Lee has had a lot of at-bats against Kershaw, more than any other Marlin. 21 of them. Just 4 hits. One of those 4 hits, a home run. Dodgers look for 2 up the middle. And Carlos Lee, uncharacteristically, a wild swing, and it's 0-2.
There's that career list all-time of Grand Slam home runs. We saw Carlos Lee hit number 17 at Wrigley Field. I think when you see him swing like that, he was looking for the pitch. He got it. He just came out of his shoes a little bit too much.
In the dirt, and nicely done by A.J. Ellis.
Boy, that ball bounced 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate.
Dodger bullpen is up. Jamie Wright. Kershaw now at 94 pitches. Lee to center field. Kemp is there. Everybody tagging. Hernandez comes home. Kemp has a great arm. And Solano stays put at second. But Miami has a run. It's 4-2. And now you've got Stanton up there with runners first and second.
It's going to be one of those innings that the Dodgers will consider it a real bonus. So will Clayton Kershaw if he just gives up the 1 run. Because remember, Marlins had bases loaded, nobody out. But if he gets out of the inning, this is why this is such an important at bat for Giancarlo.
Of all the Marlin hitters, Stanton has had the worst at bats of the night against Kershaw. He has struck out twice. He's the only Marlin hitter to strike out twice.
But Kershaw knows what he can do with 1 swing.
Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball, fly ball, left field. Don't think he got it all. Victorino has it at the wall. He didn't get it all. 4-2 Dodgers.
The Marlins only get 1 run in the inning. Well, it was La Vista here in South Florida. Remains that way for the Marlins. What about over in Los Angeles? Hanley has taken his own version. He calls it I See You to LA. It's quite popular. I asked him about it.
Well, yeah, we got a little bit something different, so to have fun with them, you know, because this game is hard, you know, you have to have fun. So we just, you know, make that one.
Is that it there on your shirt, Hanley? Is that
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Did you design that one?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Hanley likes it. He says, no, it's not La Vista. It's our own little thing, but a bunch of the guys were doing it, and the Dodger announcers had no idea what they were doing, so they asked him after the game, and Hanley said, it's called I See You. And he's been wearing the shirt underneath his uniform. We'll see what happens here with a few innings to go, guys.
All right, Craig, a lot of decisions to be made in both dugouts. For Miami, they're going to turn the game over to Ryan Webb as he comes out of Miami's bullpen. For the Dodgers,
you've got Clayton Kershaw approaching 100 pitches. He's due up second this inning. And you got A.J. Ellis coming to the plate.
Well, right now, Kershaw is in the on-deck circle.
And the Dodger bullpen is quite quiet, so it looks like Kershaw will hit. And Ellis, who has struck out and bounced into a double play, leads it off.
The interesting thing about the Stanton fly ball, he didn't get it. You could hear it, just didn't sound right. But he's strong enough that sometimes he can hit one of those out.
And it's a fly ball that went about 350 feet. Victorino running it down on the warning track. Webb misses away. The count's 1-1. Ellis, we were talking about his story. A guy that had not spent a full season in the big leagues coming into this season, out of Austin Peay, a native of Lexington, Kentucky. And he bangs that one into left field for a base hit. And that sets up nicely for the Dodgers. You've got Kershaw, who's a very good bunter. He's dropped down 11 sacrifices this year.
Boy, that's a ton. That tells you he is just outstanding at doing that. Just to give you an example, the Marlins leader is Ricky Nolasco with 7. Johnny Cueto, talked about him earlier, 13.
Chris Capuano also has 11 on this staff. Kershaw takes.
And the Marlins will see him Sunday. Wade LeBlanc and Capuano on Sunday.
Kershaw misses. You've got Dobbs charging hard at third. Kershaw trying to get this one down to first. Ellis, the runner at first, the catcher. Joe Blanton, Ricky Nolasco tomorrow night, 6:30 for Marlins Live. There's Ellis. Runner goes, hit and run, ground ball, base hit. Ellis stops at second. Kershaw executes perfectly. And the Dodgers are set up first and second, and nobody out.
Well, that's just the thing of beauty when you have a pitcher up there who you know handles the bat well. That's his 7th base hit. You have a slow running catcher, so it's a little tougher to sacrifice him over. Don Mattingly puts a hit run on. And Kershaw made contact and found the hole over on the left side.
Let's see what the Dodgers do here now. You've got another guy who's a very good bunter in Victorino, but the Dodgers do have a 2-run lead. Dobbs a few steps on the grass at third. Victorino takes outside. Victorino got things going in the 6th with a leadoff double. That's the big inning for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp, an RBI double. Hanley Ramirez, an RBI single. And then Juan Rivera with a 2-run homer, his 3rd career homer against Mark Burley.
It's amazing you have 2 guys now because of trades, Victorino and Hanley Ramirez, who for years battled against each other in the National League East, and now they are here trying to help a National League West club.
The 1-1. Victorino pops it up right near second base. Nick Green makes the catch. Infield fly rule called, and Victorino puts it away. And of course, when Victorino and the Dodgers play the hated San Francisco Giants, his teammate for a season, Hunter Pence.
Pence will be patrolling right field.
Now Mark Ellis.
Ellis is struck out, bounced out, and has a sacrifice bunt. Ellis spent 10 years with the Oakland Athletics, missed a full season after a shoulder injury, diving for a ground ball. He was always a quiet, steady member of some very good Oakland teams that went to the postseason a lot. They had that big three: Zito, Mulder, and Hudson. They had Eric Chavez at third base back when he pronounced it Chavez.
Now he's Chavez playing third base for the Yankees.
Miguel Tejada at short. Giambi at first.
Ellis went to the Rockies last year. We saw him in one series in Denver last year. He got traded from Oakland to Colorado.
Dangerous Matt Kemp is on deck, and the 2-0 pitch misses, and so Webb has gone 3-0 on Ellis, the guy you'd much rather pitch to, with first and second and one out, rather than bags loaded and one out, and Matt Kemp, who is 2 for 3 at the plate. There's the fastball for a strike. Ryan Webb, known for a good sinker. We saw him work a scoreless inning on Wednesday in the Marlins' 13-0 win in New York.
Yeah, worked a couple of scoreless innings.
That one fouled at the plate. Now, Rapid City, South Dakota.
South Dakota, I know that now.
As you described, it seems to me there's another major leaguer of some note.
I've got that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you'll remember him.
Was he a slick fielding second baseman for Ellis's old team?
Yes, he was.
That would be Dick Green.
Dick Green.
So he counts 3-2. Broken bat, little roller up the line, and Carlos Lee's going to pick it up and step on the bag. The Dodgers, though, now have runners at second and third with 2 outs, and here comes Matt Kemp. Tomorrow night is a Saturday spectacular. Marlins and Dodgers at 7:10. If you arrive early, you'll get an autograph session with a Marlins player after the game. Enjoy a fireworks spectacular, and then head out to the West Plaza for a live concert. 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com. Other notable players from South Dakota. A guy that we got to know a little bit of, Dave Collins. Well, this is interesting here.
This is a scary move. I mean, Matt Kemp's a dangerous hitter, but you have all the elements of Hanley back. He's already gotten a couple of hits.
He's looked good at the plate.
To me, this is a scary move. And it also puts pressure on Ryan Webb to throw strikes to Hanley Ramirez. Is Darren Erstad from South Dakota?
He's not on the list of being born in South Dakota. Terry Francona, though, Aberdeen, South Dakota.
I think Erstad was Iowa. But like I said, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota.
So the bags are loaded. The Marlins walking Kemp to get to Hanley, and it's Webb against Hanley. The poll question: you think Hanley, as a Dodger, will return to the 300-plus power hitter that he used to be? And that's split 37-37. And I suspect that was supposed to be not sure. Unless that's like Mo Better Blues there.
Rich, I'm just no sure.
By the way, Jason Kubel out of Belle Fourche, South Dakota.
Wow, has he had a nice year with the Diamondbacks. We'll see him.
All right, here's the drama here. Bases filled with Dodgers. Marlins have just walked one of the most dangerous hitters in the National League to get to former Marlin Hanley Ramirez. And Hanley has looked good at the plate. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI single. And Webb comes in with a fastball and misses at 94. 5 career grand slams. One-0 pitch, popped him up. Let's see if it's playable. Buck back to the screen, and it's out of play.
You know, so much of Hanley's hitting and so much that Eduardo Perez worked on was that leg kick. And when Hanley gets in trouble, when he gets the timing right and he drops it down quietly, he has more success, but he gets in trouble with leg gets a little too high, the swing gets long.
Ellis, Kershaw, and Kemp out there. And the 1-1 pitch misses outside. Hanley quoted in the papers the last couple of days talking about the work that he's put in with the Dodger hitting coaches, Manny Mota, one of them, about just that, trying to get his timing right.
And it's something he worked on here as well.
The 2-1 pitch. Hanley hits a little dribbler up the line. Buck has it and will eat it. Hanley gets an infield hit and drives in a run. And the Dodgers make it 5-2. Well, Ryan Webb made a good pitch. But Hanley gets the last laugh. It's his second RBI, his third hit of the night.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. This is where you want to pitch Hanley Ramirez. Run it in, tie him up. And he just dribbled it in the right place. No play for John Buck. And no play at the plate.
Chad Gaudin is up in the bullpen. And now Webb has to face Andre Ethier. This whole inning was set in motion by some good managing by Don Mattingly. Mattingly with A.J. Ellis at first had Kershaw at the plate. He attempted to bunt once, and then Mattingly put on the hit and run, and Kershaw slapped a single into left, and it was on for the Dodgers. Webb looked like he could get out of it after getting Victorino to pop out and Ellis to bounce out. But with first base open, Ozzie Guillen chose to intentionally walk Matt Kemp. Hanley Ramirez, a little dribbler down the third base line for his third hit of the night. And Webb is 1-1 on Ethier, a dangerous hitter. Lee backing up, has it, flips, and Webb is there. But the Dodgers get that run back and rebuild the lead to 3. A big night for Hanley Ramirez. tonight, the Marlins have been able to get him out 0 for 4, but coming in a .383 average. The Dodgers are hoping that Ether will give them the edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Jam Lexus game reset 5-2 Dodgers. Hanley Ramirez is 3 for 4. He's driven in 2. Justin Ruggiano, a solo homer. For a long time, that was the only hit that Clayton Kershaw had given up. That was until Miami got their second run in the 6th.
Boy, and all of a sudden, look at that. The Dodgers, not only with their 5 runs, with 10 hits in this one. So Kershaw, as you said, helped himself with that hit and run single.
Let's see how Kershaw responds after being on base and running the bases in a long top of the 7th. Austin Kearns, Greg Dobbs, Nick Green, and that cutter from Kershaw misses in. That pitch misses down low. Manny Machado, a South Florida product and one of the top prospects for the Baltimore Orioles, just called up. Has a pair of home runs tonight and is driven in 4. Manny Machado.
Wow.
And Baltimore is beating Kansas City 7-1. A strike. Kearns didn't like the call, and he was headed to first. It's 3-2. And it was on the black and at the knees.
The other thing with Kershaw, he threw 26 pitches last inning. Most of any of the innings tonight. So the time on the bases, 26 innings. I'm sure Don Mattingly would like to see him get through this inning, which would probably be his last.
Kearns lifts a pop-up that's going to get out of play.
Yeah, the first 3-hit game for Hanley as a Dodger.
And Machado out of Miami was the 3rd overall pick in the 2010 draft. Kearns did not go around. Out of Brito here in Miami. He's only 20. He just turned 20. And he has come up big. And if he can provide a spark for Baltimore, the Orioles are all of a sudden starting to surge a little bit after dipping. They had a terrific first half. Many felt they would fade in the second half, and it doesn't look like that's happening.
Yeah, they've hung in there 5.5 games. They trailed the Yankees coming into play tonight.
Here now is Dobbs. Dobbs lined to left and bounced back to the mound. Well, right now, Baltimore is tied for the 2nd wild card spot with the Tigers. Oakland has that 1st wild card spot in the American League. Baltimore and the Tigers a half game back. The Rays a game back. The Angels a game and a half back. In the National League, Atlanta the 1st wild card. Pittsburgh a game behind. St. Louis 3.5 behind. And the Dodgers are much closer in their division race than they are in the wild card. The Dodgers are a game back of the Giants. Don Mattingly's bunch 4.5 games back of the top wild card spot, 3.5 back of that 2nd wild card spot.
All those clubs will need an extra statistician to keep track of how far out of that wild card they are.
It will be
a little harder to figure this year.
It'll be very interesting. I think Major League Baseball, is it today? I saw a note they set their postseason schedule.
Yeah, I think the day after the season is open for any sudden death games, any ties.
And then the one-game wildcard games
is the next day.
Are the next day. With postseason series starting on a Saturday, 2 of them, and on a Sunday, the other 2. Greg Dobbs at the plate, counts 1 and 2. Dodgers bullpen ready if Kershaw falters here in the 7th. Dobbs lifts one in the air to center. Kemp comes in and he makes the catch.
So it's always good to see the local kids do well. Anthony Rizzo is continuing his nice run, hitting 3rd for the Cubs.
Hey, Gio Gonzalez has to be in the National League Cy Young discussion as well.
Absolutely, without question.
Mike Morse had a couple home runs.
Hit 2 home runs last night.
In the sweep, the 4-game sweep by the Nationals.
Desmani Grandal, Yandra Alonso. Matt Latos.
Green trying to bunt, fouls it back, and it's 0-2. The Braves are shutting out the Mets 4-0. That's in the top of the 8th in New York.
Now the Braves getting a nice start from Paul Mahalo.
The Pirates 7-7 with the Padres in the 6th. Cardinals and Phillies 1-1, bottom 6. Green takes up. Kershaw at 113 pitches.
Yeah, he's between last inning and this inning, he's laboring a lot more.
Breaking ball and a ground ball picked nicely by Hairston. Again, the Dodgers don't get an out at second base for the 3rd time in the last 2 innings. Los Angeles has tried to force a runner at second, and on all 3 cases, the Marlins have been able to get to the bag first. You saw Don Mattingly telling A.J. Ellis to go out and talk with Kershaw and buy some time.
Yeah, you saw the call here by Angel Hernandez. Not so much he beat it, but that he was off the bag. And there was no argument from Ellis. And see, he comes way off the bag to catch the throw. So that was a call, and the right call by Angel Hernandez.
And here comes Mattingly.
I think he's seen Kershaw labor these the last inning and also the few hitters he faced in this inning.
Mattingly goes to the bullpen, and we step aside. 5-2 Dodgers.
The Dodgers go to their bullpen, and the first out for Don Mattingly is Jamie Wright.
Boy, a guy that we've all seen over the years with the Rockies, Milwaukee, Texas. 37 years old now is Jamie Wright. He still becomes a little bit of a nibbler. You have to be patient. He'll throw that curveball, cuts it, sinking fastball.
John Buck. And there's the breaking ball for a strike. Buck tonight has a single and has flied out.
To kind of illustrate the struggles of Kershaw, he threw 71 pitches the first 5 innings, 43 pitches the last 2 innings.
Marlins have Brian Peterson on deck. And Buck fights off a fastball. It's 0-2. And the Dodgers have double barrel action with Ronald Belisario.
You could see Randy Choate if Brian Peterson's announced.
Peterson waits. Ozzie certainly as heavy as he could be with the right-handed bats in a Kershaw start. That's the pitcher spot that's due up next. And Buck calls time and steps out.
Yeah, and because of that, Rich, Gorky Hernandez is already pinch hit. So that leaves you with Brett Hayes, who you don't want to use. He's the backup catcher. So you have lefties left. Because he's not going to use Jose Reyes to bat right-handed.
1-2 to Buck. There's Kearns. He walked. Green will not get a hit. He gets actually an offer on that. It was ruled a fielder's choice. 1-2 pitch. And it's outside. That would be a call that might be reviewed. If a third baseman feels his only shot is to throw it to second and he doesn't get the out there.
And Green also, watch as Wright gets ready to work, and with the first baseman Rivera way behind him, he's getting a big lead at first base too.
2-2 coming. Buck fights it off and fouls it off. Defenses have become much more aggressive in their shifts. You see Heath Bell and Chad Godin, and we see the shifts when you bring a second baseman over to the third base side. The Rays do that a lot. The Brewers do that a lot. Obviously, for a left-handed bat, you see the third baseman shift over and 3 guys on the right side. But a lot of teams are really moving their first baseman way off the line against right-handed bats. And Buck swings and misses and strikes out. And we'll see if Don Mattingly does bring the lefty in to face Brian Peterson.
Jamie Wright got John Buck with that big curveball.
That may be the only guy he faces all night. And that's the luxury of having a well-stocked bullpen and an off day yesterday. Here comes Mattingly. And he's going to make the move. Well, on a night where Hanley Ramirez has 3 hits and 2 RBIs, now the Marlins have to face Randy Choate. It's 5-2 Dodgers. to see Choate's numbers.
Yeah, those are the overall numbers. He's had a few little struggles early on with the Dodgers. He's been in 8 games, but 4 2/3 in, he's given up 5 hits and 3 runs. But now we know what Randy Choate's specialty is, going after left-handers. And unfortunately, Ozzie Guillen, because of his bench, doesn't have anything to counter with. So that's why Don Mattingly made the move. He knows he's going to get Choate against Peterson.
So Peterson stands in and Choate looks in. There are the splits for Peterson in his career. And a guy that when he was in New Orleans this year was playing every day, so he faced plenty of lefties down there.
He usually hangs in pretty well against left-handers.
Choate misses away. Now you've got Donovan Solano on deck. And there's a couple things that could happen there. The Dodgers have that right-hander up in the bullpen. Don Mattingly hoping that it ends here with Peterson, because remember, Miami has Jose Reyes available. And Peterson takes in, and it's 3-0.
Having a nice patient at bat against Randy Choate.
Because if Choate doesn't get Peterson, Mattingly has a decision to make. Does he want Choate facing Solano or the right-hander in the bullpen facing Reyes?
Probably Reyes.
Not there yet. 3-0 pitches. Ooh, a strike on the inside corner. Barely on the inside corner. That pitch number 4 just touching the black. Let's see what Peterson gets. 3-1. Fastball that was down right at his knees and right down the middle of the plate. He pulls it foul. So he's seen just about everything Choate has.
And certainly close enough. It was in the zone.
3-2. Green and Kearns, as the Marlins and their fans know, this is a spot where Choate oftentimes will, against the lefties, bring that big hook out. That frisbee breaking ball. See if he gets it. Runners on the move. The 3-2. No, it was a fastball and a great take by Peterson. And now we'll see which way Mattingly wants to go.
That's just a good at bat all around.
He's on his way out to the mound.
Now we'll see which way Ozzie goes.
He's going to double switch with Choate, and we'll see if Ozzie counters with Reyes, or do you save Reyes for later in the ball game?
You got to take a shot if you have it.
I think Miami's waiting to see who emerges from the Dodgers bullpen here. Belisario steps on the field. Mattingly heads to the mound, and we'll give you the verdict when we return.
is at first base. And he comes in the double switch. And a right-hander, Ronald Belisario, comes in. And Ozzie Guillen has Donovan Solano at the plate. Solano is 0 for 3. Bags are loaded. There are 2 outs. Miami's down by 3. And Solano takes a wild swing at a pitch that was 2 feet inside.
A little surprised. Unless he just wanted to give Jose Reyes the whole night off. Belisario, good fastball. You just saw it. 90% of his pitches are fastballs. Opponent's hitting just 168 against him. There's another one. He'll mix in a breaking pitch once in a while, but primarily good moving fastball.
Kearns opened the inning with a walk. Green reached on that fielder's choice. And after a couple of pitching changes, here's Belisario against Solano, and he's out in front 0-2. Fastball, little chopper towards third, scooped up. Hairston on the move, in time, and Miami leaves them loaded. To the 8th, 5-2 Dodgers. Chad Godin. Mark Burley would start the ball game. Burley went 6 innings, and the Dodgers got to Burley for 4 runs. They got a run off Ryan Webb in his inning in relief, and now Godin takes the 8th. So a lot of things went on in that inning. Obviously, Don Mattingly going to his bullpen on a couple of occasions. Actually, to start with Kershaw, he went there 3 times with Wright, Choate, and then Belisario. We saw Jose Reyes. That would have been an option against Belisario. There's a couple things you can say. As you noted, maybe a night off means a night off. Maybe the wrist or the hand is hurt a little more than we think. A little more than we think. Or maybe Ozzie, who is thin on players, is waiting to keep Reyes in reserve for the 9th inning.
And I'll tell you how crazy this game is. We saw Hanley Ramirez with a swinging bunt with the bases loaded. Just enough onto the grass that he got the infield base hit in the RBI. Donovan Solano didn't hit the ball very well either, but hit it a little too well. And his trickled out to third, and Hairston made a good play.
Juan Rivera bouncing out in that double switch. Mattingly had moved Rivera out to right field.
And it was Andre Ethier who came out of the ball game. So Rivera is out number 1. Jerry Hairston is batter number 2. And Godin's fastball. Stanton will field it on a hop. Jerry Hairston has his second hit of the ball game. Now you get to A.J. Ellis. And behind him is James Loney.
Yeah, he came in to play first base in that double switch.
Well, the Braves have to be feeling pretty good about their trade with the Cubs after Paul Maholm throws a 3-hit shutout tonight at the Mets. In 9 innings, Maholm threw just 95 pitches.
Wow.
Struck out 5, 4-0. Atlanta beats the Mets. In Pittsburgh tonight, the Pirates and the Padres have been going back and forth. And right now, the pride of Naples, Chris Resop, is pitching with an 8-7 lead for the Pirates. That one fouled back to the screen. Now, of course, the Pirates in the Central are trying to chase down the Reds. The Reds earlier today outlasted the Cubs in a warm weather slugfest in Chicago, 10-8. Cincinnati winning. Cincinnati, for the time being, is 3 up. The Pirates can get back to 2.5 if they win that game tonight against the Padres.
Ryan Ludwig, big game there.
Yeah, and that snaps a 5-game losing streak for the Reds. Speaking of Ryan Ludwig, we were discussing in that Met series the dimensions, and you had talked to David Wright and some of the Met hitters about moving the fences in and just their mental state. Here's the 1-2 pitch, hit in the air to right, and Stanton is back. Ryan Ludwig was talking about what a mental mess he became and how much it changed his swing the time that he spent in San Diego.
And how much more comfortable he probably feels in Cincinnati now, even though that game was played in Chicago. But you can feel pretty comfortable in Chicago too.
Ellis flies out, and here's James Loney now. Loney takes a fastball that misses outside. James Loney in a platoon spot right now. 103 games, 302 at bats, but just 2 home runs. Slices a liner foul. And you can remember 4 or 5 years ago when the Dodgers had the core of this team coming up. It was Ethier, Loney, and Kemp. And even up until a couple of years ago, you were always wondering which guy would get the big contract, which guy would the Dodgers extend. And as it turns out, so far, it's been Ethier and Kemp, but not Loney.
You know, Loney has been one of those guys. I mean, he's good size, so you would think 25, 30 home runs, but most home runs he ever hit was 15. That was back in 07. Driven in 90 runs a couple of times. So he's produced runs. He's a doubles guy, but he's never been that power hitting first baseman that they thought he might be.
Usually very good around the bag at first. He's up with 2 outs. Hairston the runner at first, and Godin misses away. (5-2) Dodgers. If you just happened by, Hanley Ramirez has 3 hits. 2 have driven in runs. Marlins have had some opportunities get by them on a night where Jose Reyes, with a sore hand, which makes hitting right-handed problematic, has had the night off. The offensive highlight
for Miami tonight has been Justin Ruggiano's 10th home run. That and the inability for the Dodgers to get a force play at second.
And the Marlins have just 3 hits.
Two pitch is fouled out of play. The Giants send Tim Lincecum to the mound. That ball game will start in about a half an hour in San Francisco, and they'll face the Colorado Rockies, who are just 40-69. That breaking ball pulled foul. The Nationals have just started, and that is a Steven Strasburg, Trevor Cahill matchup in Arizona. As we pointed out, the Nationals streaking. They've won 6 in a row, a 4-game lead. Now that the Braves have won, they can get it back to 4.5 if they beat the Diamondbacks. That's pulled hard. Carlos Lee closed the gate, steps on the bag, and a scoreless inning in relief for Chad Godin. To School Drive presented by the Marlin Wives. It's on Sunday from 11:30 to 1. Backpacks, notebooks, pencils, crayons, paper, scissors. Tommy's still hoping for a compass and a protractor. There you go. And bring it on Sunday. Bottom of the 8th, Justin Ruggiano, Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton. And because of that double switch, Don Mattingly able to leave Belisario in for some more work. He's got some really good arms down there left. Kenley Jansen, of course, is the closer, but we told you that the Dodgers acquired Brandon League from Seattle. He's down that bullpen as well. Ruggiano, a little tapper up the line, foul. And it counts 1-2.
Brandon League last year, the Seattle Mariners had 37 saves.
He was an all-star last year, an American League all-star. Ruggiano swings and misses, and Belisario has his first strikeout. And here comes Carlos Lee. Phillies are beating the Cardinals 3-1.
And that's in the bottom of the 8th inning. That Baltimore game has gone final. As we told you, Miami's Manny Machado hit 2 home runs and drove in 4 in that ball game. Just 20. Lee's hit streak is on the line. You saw it. He has a sacrifice fly, and that little roller, Loney tumbles on his back, flips, and gets the out.
Boy, there's an example of double switch pays off. Twofold. Mattingly gets Loney at first base. I don't know if Rivera makes that play. And we talked about Loney's ability, very good around the bag, makes a nice play there, and from his backside gives a good feed to Belisario.
There are 2 outs, and Belisario faces Giancarlo Stanton. Breaking ball for a strike. 0 for 3 is Stanton in this one. He has struck out twice, flied out. And a strike to Stanton. A Chase Headley homer has just put the Padres.
That's a wild game going on in Pittsburgh.
Back on top of the Pirates. 9-8 now. That's one of the things that has changed about pennant races with all the technology now with the MLB.TV, the extra innings package, is if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan, you watched your team today, you're watching that game tonight. You're hoping and rooting for the Padres tonight. Here's the 1-2. And it's outside. It wasn't that long ago that you had to wait for the evening news or the late night Sports Center or sports show.
Or get a call from a buddy in Pittsburgh.
Here's the 2-2. Stanton busts his bat. Hairston very good at third, and he throws him out. Hairston's very good wherever you put him. It's our Warren Henry drive of the game. That made it 4-1 Dodgers. It's 5-2 Dodgers. And into the ninth here in Miami we go. Chad Gaudin stays in. His second inning. Shane Victorino, top of the order. Mark Ellis Matt Kemp. And a strike from Godin. Big hits in this one. Well, Rivera had the 2-run homer. Hanley Ramirez with 3 hits, all singles. 2 have driven in runs. Kemp has an RBI double and a single, and Victorino's double got the 6th inning started.
Yeah, he led off that 6th inning with that double into right center.
Dodgers down the stretch in the month of September are in their division. They have the Padres 6 times. That one fouled back. They have the Rockies 6 times if you stretch it into late August. They also have some tough matchups on the road against the Nationals in the middle of September and the Reds. So that's going to be a tough road trip.
And look who they finished the season against.
Now they finished with 3 against the Giants. It may well be that the Giants and the Dodgers get to those last 3 games, and both teams know they're going in the postseason, though they're fighting over the division or a wild card spot. But a 3-game series in Washington followed by 3 in Cincinnati. That's part of the Dodgers schedule in September. Victorino's ground ball. Lee is there, and Godin gets to the bag. He and Victorino dance down the line. Nicely done.
Good job. Number 1, Carlos Lee, and then Godin had to get over there in a hurry. He knows the speed of Victorino. And Carlos got him the ball, and Godin got there just in time.
Marlins Live postgame presented by Checkers coming up after the ball game. Give you all the highlights. Certainly the reaction from Ozzie Guillen in Miami's clubhouse. This road trip is not an easy one for the Dodgers. It opens with these 3 games here in Miami. And then the Dodgers go to Pittsburgh for 4 and Atlanta for 3. Of course, the Marlins still have to go to Los Angeles. And that's the real odd part about this matchup tonight. It's the first time the 2 teams have faced each other all season long.
That's pretty amazing. Here we are, almost the middle of August, and have not seen the Dodgers. And when the Dodgers were in Vero Beach, you at least saw them in spring training. But now that they're in Arizona, it's our first look at LA.
This is the 3rd season the Dodgers have trained in Arizona. And of course, Dodgertown, so much a part of the history of the Dodgers and the history of spring training in Florida. The Dodgers kept that site for so many years in Los Angeles. But they must have kept it for, 47 years once they went west. Actually more than that, because this is year 50 of Dodger Stadium, and they were in the Coliseum before that.
Yeah, their first year at Dodger Stadium was 62.
2-2 pitches outside, and I haven't read anything to this effect, but I wonder if the streets are still named with the Dodger greats, and if that baseball complex still has a lot of Dodger stuff around it. Because sometimes when you ask someone, where do the Dodgers train in Florida, the answer would be
Dodgertown.
Dodgertown.
It wasn't Vero Beach.
No, it was Dodgertown.
That was Vero Beach.
Ellis walks. That's probably a good question to ask on a Tuesday night when
we'll find out what the folks up in Vero Beach are doing now.
That's right. They can give us the heads up. Now here's Kemp. One of the more curious moments of this ball game came in the 7th with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. Ryan Webb on the hill, and Ozzie Guillen decided to intentionally walk Matt Kemp, and Webb made a great pitch to Hanley Ramirez, And everything worked out. Ozzy's decision worked out. The pitch worked out. But Hanley hit a swinging bunt up the third baseline in the exact wrong spot for the Marlins defensively, and it was an infield single, and it knocked in a run. Kemp takes outside. Kemp is a very wealthy and talented young man. He's only 27. His big contract kicks in next year, 8 years, $160 million.
You know, the amazing thing, Rich, about Kemp's time on the disabled list this year with the hamstring problem, the last 4 years he'd averaged 159 games played. So he'd been out there pretty much all the time.
Many credit Davey Lopes with his blossoming the last few years. That one foul back. There's a very good profile of Kemp on HBO's Real Sports. His Midwest roots. Growing up a very good basketball player and baseball player, obviously. Here's the 2-2. And Godin strikes him out with a fastball. And so Kemp goes down. Here comes Hanley Ramirez. And just in talking about Kemp, one of the big differences for Hanley Ramirez in Los Angeles will be this. The Marlins were built around Hanley Ramirez. He was the cornerstone of the franchise. As he goes to Los Angeles, he's not the cornerstone of that franchise.
They have Kemp, they have Ethier, they have others to surround him. And that should help him.
Hanley swings and fouls it back out of play.
But there were some great moments that Hanley provided as a Marlin. There's no question about that.
Check swing by Hanley. And it's 0-2. Right down the middle. Hanley strikes out. So Godin strikes him out. Hanley has done some damage tonight. And Miami's down to their last 3 outs. the nation's largest 4G network, AT&T, Rethink Possible, and by Checkers. Feast on. In Miami tonight, 5-2, Dodgers on top. The Marlins have mustered just 3 hits. Clayton Kershaw, 3 relievers, and now the 4th is Kenley Jansen.
I'll tell you what, look at that bottom line. The opponent's average 140. It's going to be tough to muster any more hits against Kenley Jansen. Lots of fastballs and cutters. The fastballs mid-90s. 22 saves. And boy, the number that stood out to me, not only the opponent's batting average, but 79 strikeouts, 51 2/3 innings.
He's a strikeout machine, and he was last year as well. Austin Kearns, Greg Dobbs, and Nick Green. And Jansen, a converted catcher. He was converted in the 2009 season. First pitch a strike to Austin Kearns. Last year, Kenley Jansen had a 16.1 strikeout per 9 inning mark, which is the all-time record.
Even higher than Eric Gagne, who was one of the best as a Dodger closer.
Higher than Carlos Marmol.
Stop it.
It's true. Marmol is on that list. Marmol is very close to Jansen.
But do they have the walks on that list?
And it's tough to call him Jansen for me, because when I first saw him, he was Kenley Jansen. Swing and a miss. He was the catcher for that Netherlands team.
Didn't he throw out a couple of the Dominican players?
Yeah, absolutely. He threw one guy out to end a ball game. He was Kenley Jansen then. In fact, Jim Cott and I went down and spent a lot of time with that Netherlands team, and we asked him about his name, and it was Kenley Jansen. Then he gets converted to a pitcher. He gets to the big leagues, and suddenly he's Kenley Jansen. So I asked him, I guess it was last year, hey, what happened to the pronunciation of your name? And he said no one could get it right, so he decided just not to correct anybody in the United States. So when he goes back to Curacao, he is Kenley Jansen. But here in Major League Baseball, he said Kenley Jansen will do just fine.
So the bottom line, he'll answer to both.
And he could absolutely throw from behind the plate. He was terrific in that World Baseball Classic. That was the Netherlands team that took down the Dominicans, beat them twice, and ended up coming to Miami. And of course, Miami, Marlins Park, will host the second round of the World Baseball Classic, March of next year. Dobbs is up. The count's 2-0.
See, when he throws that pitch 90 or low 90s, that's that cutter.
Look at the innings.
Got 217 strikeouts.
And the strikeouts. That's incredible. Two 1 to Dobbs. In the air and out of play.
The tough matchup tonight, Rich, any way you look at it, with the Marlins not having Jose Reyes in the lineup. Donovan Solano, Kearns, Nick Green. Had to play Greg Dobbs against the tough lefty, Clayton Kershaw. It's going to be tough, and I'm sure Ozzie knew it from the beginning, to generate much offense.
Well, they faced a guy tonight who won the Cy Young last year, and yesterday they faced a guy who may win it this year in R.A. Dickey. Kemp under it, makes the catch, and Miami is down to Nick Green.
What do you take of the conversations that are out there of knuckleball bias, that a knuckleballer might not get votes from certain people as a Cy Young winner?
I would go the other way.
I think it's a great story.
I think because of the story and because of how difficult a pitch it is to master,
which he has,
I would lean the other way. Plus, he's pitching for a team that isn't real good.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one.
He doesn't walk a lot of guys, which is historically not something that successful knuckleballers have been able to do.
He didn't walk anybody in his complete game yesterday.
Nick Green drives one in the gap, left center field. That's going to go a while. It'll go all the way to the wall. Green to second, and he'll stop there. And here comes John Buck. And I think that shot really answers our question. A night off is a complete night off for Jose Reyes.
And you understand if that's what Ozzie told him, Ozzie's not going to let anybody else know that, because he wants Mattingly to think that Reyes is going to be available.
Buck now with a count 1-0. Kenley Jansen trying to nail it down for the Dodgers.
Well, the Marlins tonight playing their 114th game. Jose Reyes has played 111.
Inside corner, 1-2. And Jansen is a strike away.
Take that back. The Marlins are playing their 113th game tonight. So he's played all but 2.
That pitch in, Jansen thought it was the same spot, and it may have been. But this time it wasn't a strike. It's 2-2.
And look at that bundle of pitches.
It was just in. And I have to say this. I think Chris Conroy behind the plates had a very good night. That's in as well. Just about every borderline pitch that we've looked at, he's been on.
I know early on the Dodger hitters had a couple of questions, and every time Conroy was right there.
Green's at second. Jansen's 3-2. That's in. And so Buck walks. Here comes Cousins.
So again, the question comes up because this would be a place you could hit Jose Reyes too. More experienced than Scott Cousins. But there are two things. Either Ozzie told Reyes at the beginning of the game, you're going to be off. I'm not going to use you. Or, as we discussed, maybe that hand, that thumb is bothering him a little more than we know.
Well, Cousins has the power to pop one out. But for Scott, it's been tough this year trying to find and keep that swing while not getting regular at-bats. And Johnson misses low and in. Ellis on his way out to the mound.
You're right about Scott Cousins. If Jansen continues to miss down, that's right where Cousins likes the ball. He's a good low fastball hitter. And he does have the pop to hit one out. and he represents the tying run.
The 2-out double by Green. John Buck walked. 1-0 to Cousins. Solano is on deck. And Jansen delivers. Cousins swings and hits a slow roller to first. Loney just got him. And the ball game is over. Jansen shuts the door. And the Dodgers put some heat on the Giants, who are just starting at home against Colorado. Dunkin' Donuts save of the game goes to Kenley Jansen. See, I still have a hard time with that. Jansen. He's terrific. And Hanley Ramirez tonight, 3 hits, 2 of them driving in runs. 5-2 the final. Dodgers win it.